Hey, good to have you here this evening. Good morning, wherever you are. My name is Louise Armstrong, and I'm a psychotherapist and a counselor and a BWRT specialist. I do lots of things helping people heal past trauma. And I'm here with my fabulous friend, Jenny, and the two of us are going to talk you through some of the things that are going on specifically around this pandemic. We have created, or are creating, should I say, a series of videos, Soulful Women's Journey, where we really hope to inspire you with support and guidance and information on really how to help you become the best version of yourselves as we go through, the next few weeks, because we are really living in uncertain times. So before we introduce today's topic, I'm just going to hand over to Jenny and she can tell you a little bit about what she does. Welcome, Jenny.
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much, Louise. And yes, I just like to give short brief about myself because the time we want to give our viewers, audience, right, to give some more support. So me, Jenny Lisa Cohn, a joyful living, soul purpose coach, and an EFT practitioner.
Beautiful.
I hope soulful women for emotional freedom. So I think the details will be posted, in the written version so that you could, a bit better. I literally help people who trapped in emotional thought patterns and held back in life with seemingly complicated issues, but all actually share the common roots.
Mm-hmm. And what is that common root, Jenny?
Yeah, go back to the childhood, so that then you have different, issues in life. But actually, it all goes back about the emotional disconnection or unconditional love support. If you have the lack on that, growing up, some issues come up, because we don't feel secure, especially under this crazy situation.
Exactly. And I mean, this is the most insecure situation I think all of us, especially worldwide, have been through. I mean, none of us have faced anything like this before, and it does trigger that insecurity and fears. And if you've got those already inside of you at some level, they could be massively exploding right now and really affecting you. I know mental health is a big buzzword, and we hear it on the news, we hear it on the radio. People are really, really suffering out there. And that's one of the main reasons why Jenny and I have got together. We've known each other a little while and done a few podcasts together. And so Jenny came up with this wonderful idea that why don't we share every 2 weeks, we're going to be coming on now, where you can watch the video again at your leisure. So today we're going to be focusing really on how some of you going through, experiencing the fear that's going on right now, real physical symptoms, these are really coming out in a physical way. And the big topic, which is always close to my heart, is relationship issues, because, we're either pushed together or we're pulled apart, and they're causing a lot of problems. And we really want to be coming through this pandemic, through this situation, better versions of ourselves. So why don't we kick off with that? Because I'm sure some of you out there are really suffering in some way, and we really want to help you deal with that and move forwards. So Jenny, what's been going on, with people you've come across, perhaps with clients, or even perhaps with friends, about what is it, these physical issues? Well, what's going on? How's this happening?
Yeah, thank you for mentioning this big, huge issue. Lately, I have worked with many people on their physical symptoms like headaches, shoulders, neck, back, stiffness, tension, and pain, and insomnia, serious insomnia. People could stay sleepless for days and even a couple of weeks.
Oh.
And the other big one is shortness of breath, chest tightness. People said, "Oh, I'm not infected by viruses. How come, I feel difficulty in breathing, So just like you said, the global fear energy really triggered us and shook off so much old stuff that has been buried inside of us, for a long time. Some of them are even not ours. They are from the parents, the family members, even the generations from the tribe. But they don't know. Suddenly it all came out. They don't know and don't understand what's going on, what's wrong. I bet you the same, because I know you volunteer for the doctors or so,
Yes. Yeah, no, you're right. I'm a volunteer for the front line for our NHS workers here in the UK, and helping doctors and surgeons, anaesthetists, pharmacists and nurses.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Stay on that front line, and they are affected very much physically. It is a big issue, isn't it? And sleep is more important than food and water. We have to sleep, and you know what it's like to have a bad night's sleep. Even if you haven't got a sleeping problem, you just feel rubbish, don't you, the next day? No energy, can't be bothered to do anything. So tell us a little bit, what can people do, Jenny, to really, help themselves?
Yeah, what I really like to share and point it out first is that many of us women, we are spiritually oriented. I could say empathetic, if I would say, we are feelers. We give our energies away to love others, not reserving any or setting up boundaries for ourselves. And we could easily absorb other people's or literally the whole world's energy. No wonder we just, take in. And then, when the physical symptoms come up, actually, they are the messages our body, our mind sends to us about, what we really need, our deepest needs. You mentioned relationship. Of course, this is also big. Now, when we stay at home, every family member stays together, the space and all different energies caught up together, mixed. So all these, like old patterns, it just came out. And I have, really worked with a lot of people, even, this couple of days. People have even, had emotional meltdown, and a lot of, emotions come up. And also between the family members, also a lot of, triggers. Yeah, so they are all, the messages. So the one big thing is to deal with them, we need to give healthy outlets for those feelings that have been inside of us. Let them out. Give them healthy outlets. Otherwise, our body is intelligent. They will find their ways to come out, all these feelings, energies, right? And when they come out, it will show up as physical symptoms. That's what I discovered, from the work, helping people.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And behind that, the science, I'm kind of both. When I've done a lot of training with my mentor, and he says, are you spiritual? Are you logical? And I'm on the fence. I'm a very spiritual person, but also I love science. So if we talk about the science behind that, we're all balls of energy. And if we don't release that negative energy, because we've not been taught to, it's not right to, we look like we're bad people if we go around feeling angry. And, if we don't express those feelings, they do get suppressed inside of us. And that suppression, as you say, exactly, these cells are still multiplying and multiplying and multiplying until they become an explosion. And now they cause a health issue, a digestive issue, migraines, insomnia, as you said earlier, Jenny, neck ache, backache, tension, all that tension you hold in your shoulders. And most of that, I would say, I think that you probably agree, is suppressed. It's the suppressed feelings. And so I got some ways I help people, really express negative feelings and negative thoughts in a healthy way. What would you suggest, Jenny?
Yeah. The big thing also is that we are trying to use our head, logical mind, to get things under control. Usually we used to do that, but not anymore under this situation. So the thing is, we still need the logic mind, but those feelings, stress, anxiety, overwhelm, all these kind of things are feelings. They happen in our right hemisphere, the emotional mind. So only use our head cannot reach those. And the people have the fear to confront our uncomfortable feelings. They don't want to go there, go near there. You use the word suppressing, it's the, perfect description. So the thing is, really how to allow ourselves to express, to let them out. And in the meantime, how to, we mentioned that last time, to, do some exercise to help us to come back to the centered place, to connect with us so that our whole being could feel safe at this present moment. Only, when we could come back with ourselves, body, mind, spirit all together, and then we could stay at the moment of now. So things could be calm. We could let these out, be objective, to ourselves and accept those feelings, embrace those feelings. So that's the thing, embracing instead of pushing away, fighting.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think all of us would agree that we all want to feel whole. We all want to be complete. We all want to be, feel at one with ourselves. Well, the only real way to do that is to embrace all of us. And that includes those negative thoughts and those feelings that you don't like, very much. But as you say, Jenny, once you acknowledge them and then express them through exercise or through perhaps journaling or even just talking them out, just getting them out of you. I know in Dubai a lot of people I just used to get to talk it through on a dog walk. Can't really do that right now unless there's no one around. And so it is really, really, I think exercise is key. I think we should all, if we're able to, exercise every single day, and that could be as simple as a walk, a half an hour, a 30-minute good walk out there, in nature or near water if you live in a city, something that connects you to, some form of nature, whether that is water or trees or shrubs or flowers or the birds.
Yeah.
Because it really, really brings us home again. It's, as you say, we feel safe and we feel secure at that very moment. And it can help us get through this time where we are scared, because we don't know what the future holds, and it's affected all of us in some way, some much more than others. But it is something that we can get through in the best possible way. And so how would you say, Jenny, what have you been experiencing these past 2 weeks, particularly around relationships? What's been going on?
Oh, yeah. So when you are getting closer to the sometimes family members right now, especially, right? So, of course, they will have some conflicts happen. But especially for some people, if you feel like more triggered, the one big suggestion I like to give is to shift from the trigger from that person. They are good at pressing our buttons, right? But the key is we do have the buttons there. So those buttons are the things from our past, actually. So what I like to say is we really need to focus on ourselves give compassion and love to ourselves, and using these triggering moments, situations to really find out what are our deepest needs inside in our heart. Especially that comes up such a huge topic. Of course, we cannot, resolve them all today for this short talk, but at least we could give some points so people can understand it's not just about them. Actually, it's just about ourselves, where we didn't get our needs met. We wanted to be loved, heard, understood, and supported of our feelings, especially for women, right? We want to be heard, and it's a special language, of emotion. So go back to see what we really need and help ourselves. No judging, just give compassion and love.
Beautiful.
I bet you are relationship expert, because you have a lot of experiences and cases.
Yeah. I've been the end of huge destruction, and I'm very fortunate to have been married just over 31 years. So I've kind of been at either end of it. And what Jenny says is it couldn't be truer, that any feeling that you're experiencing with someone else, and quite often we tend to blame them, or it's because of him, it's because of her, or it's because of my mum or my dad, they're doing my head in. And actually, as Jenny says, they are triggering your buttons, and those buttons are emotions that you have already got. And so acknowledging that, I feel really angry, or I feel resentful, or I'm feeling frustrated right now, just acknowledging that and looking at that can actually start to diminish it. And then we can have a look at, well, whose program is that? Where did this come from? Is it in alignment with me to feel frustrated and angry right now? And so we can start asking some questions. And some of the questions I use are, is it true? Is it true? Is this program being true to me? Because quite often it's someone else's program or pattern of behavior that you've taken on from childhood that's still showing up now. And so I think, Jenny, in this time, where we are perhaps spending a lot more time with others, maybe more buttons are being triggered. And so it's up to us we choose how we react to them, right? We choose, and we can also choose whether we want that particular button to be triggered. And that's, really being emotionally intelligent, or feeling empowered, or whatever you want to call it, in control of your emotions. That when you're in that state, you feel, you feel in control. Because a lot of the time we don't feel in control. Someone's making us angry or making us upset. No one's got any power over you at all. So you don't take away anything from today. Take that away. No one can make you do anything or feel anything. They've got no power over you.
I love that. Yeah. If you get, trapped there and blaming them, or so really, literally, you give your power away, being controlled by, those emotions or so. Yeah. Really come back to yourself, acknowledging. Of course, you can also use some tools, meditations or whatever. I know you use your professional tools as a therapist, healer. I use my tool, emotional freedom technique. It's also referred to as needle free emotional acupuncture. Those kind of things. Yeah. Allow yourself to let them out. Really, it again and again, or it's the same, without judging. So when you understand those feelings are just carry energy, then it's neutral. Then there is no bad, no good, no wrong, no right. So now it's safe, to really confront it and let them out, express it. Because it's a big time. I find so many women, they don't feel comfortable, and they have the reluctance to confront their feelings because it's uncomfortable, bring out a lot of, whatever, bad stuff from the past, whatever. But they go nowhere if you don't let them out. They got stuck.
Yeah.
That's why finally you could be still triggered. The buttons are still there. If we could really release them and let them out, finally, the buttons are removed, then you will not be triggered. Gradually, of course. It's a procedure. It's a journey.
It is a journey. You're right. And there's lots of different ways of, in doing this. And Jenny's fantastic. She's emotional freedom technique, EFT, which is a wonderful, wonderful tool that I know you love and is really, really, really helpful in helping so many people. And I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, so I help people by accessing the part of the mind that Jenny was talking about, the emotional part of the mind, the subconscious mind that houses 95, to 97% of our emotions that drive our behaviors. So it's that part of the mind we need to access. And more recently, I'm qualified in brain working recursive therapy, which actually changes everything before conscious awareness. So that is that is a super powerful tool. But what we're really talking about today is ways of you helping yourself. And so it's really important that you understand that no one's making you feel anything, and you express these emotions in a healthy way through exercise, through talking it out, through maybe even punching the living daylights out of a pillow. If you're really angry about someone, go bash that pillow, because you will have released that emotion.
It's so
and
true.
So you're not going to be bawling at your husband that evening.
Some people like to do journaling as well. Write it down, and then tear off the paper, burn it. That something like that.
So it's really important to release these emotions because they're yours, and if they're not serving you, we need to release them, because if you push them down inside of you, they don't go away. Unfortunately, all this stuff walks around with you. It's like having a sack on your back. You can't get rid of it.
The burden. Yes, emotional burden.
Absolutely, Jenny.
It's heavy.
It can be really heavy, and negative emotions, just to give the science behind it, they carry much less oxygen. So actually there is a reason, behind that when you are in a negative and in a bad mood, you will have a lot less energy, because those positive cells are slightly bigger because they carry more oxygen. So you're actually healthier because your organs are now getting more oxygen from the blood as it circulates around your system. So it does have a positive. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah, because when we suppress them, it consumes us energy to suppress those feelings, because these are like who we are. It's just real. It's true. We can be aligned with them, and then we don't need to consume the healthy energy for suppressing. That way we can reserve those energy for action taking, to do whatever we need to do. But in that case, we leak a lot of healthy energy, and then we feel tired, exhausted. That's how fatigue also comes after a moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just going to say, that brings us back to our physical symptoms, doesn't it? So if we're not in a very good mind space, it's really going to come out in those physical symptoms as well. So you can see the connection in all of this, in all of our relationships and how we handle them. So I think if you're living closely with someone and you're not used to being with them, you must take time alone. You have to book that for yourself, So you, like Jenny was saying, you either meditate, you take a walk, you take some exercise, you journal it, but you must have time alone. Absolutely. Because otherwise you're going to go mad.
Yeah, it's just that simple. Mad.
You're going to go crackers.
True. It's so true. Yes.
You really are. And so that really brings me, Jenny, to what I like to talk about is how the sort of people we're going to become as we come through this. This is the most important thing. It isn't what happens to you. You may be suffering in some sort of way. Like my husband's lost his job. We've cancelled 2 of my children's weddings. One was in June. One was in August. we are unable to finish this beautiful home we're living in. So, you know, these are our issues. Some people have much worse with loss, you know, to some degree. And I really, really feel for you. It's really tough to lose someone, especially now. It's tough losing someone anyway, but right now it is a really, really tough time. So we've all got certain things going on during this, but the most important thing to remember is who we become. So what sort of person do you want to become as we emerge out into this new life? Because we're not going back to our old ways. There'll be a different way of life. So I really invite you to think about it. You know, who would you like to be? Because now is your chance to start creating this person. Not when we've come through it. You really need to be doing the work right now. So it's a fantastic time, really, to be working on the self. Don't you think, Johnny, that right now?
Oh, so true. Yeah, so true. If we only focus on and use all of our energies, you know, stay there, then we only see the problems. But in the meantime, really, the pains also bring us the opportunity to really, know who we really are. So I love to, share some words I shared in my, community when this whole thing started. It's like, we are like shaked. So shaking and resetting. Shaking, it's not just, for,
There you go.
shaking. Yeah. It's not just for, stopping there or whatever, and it's reset. So we finally know more about ourselves, actually, because we didn't have time to really touch that real part, vulnerable or scared or so, and the reset. And then, we shift. You and me, we came to this place doing the healing coaching work to help others. We went through our own journey, own transformation. So it's finally shift. But not only that, staying at this shifting place, it's for the purpose to finally rise to a higher place. So what I like to share, for the, if we finish for today's timing wise, it's like shaking is really not to stop us, but actually meant to shift us to a higher place for our better version of ourselves. I love this point you just shared today. This way, it's really a moving, it's growth.
Absolutely.
With some growing pains.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why it's not easy, hey? That's why they call them growing pains, because growth isn't easy. But you can make growth easier without resistance. If you look at nature, and if you look how in the springtime, the flowers are coming out, the buds, are coming out, the leaves are forming. There's no force. They just grow. And so if we grow in alignment with us and without force, it comes so naturally, but it'll feel uncomfortable, and you got to get used to feeling uncomfortable. You don't want to scare the life out of yourself, but to feel uncomfortable is good. And so I really encourage you to take a step out of your comfort zone. And maybe that's just in your mind as to what sort of person you want to be. Maybe you want to start a business. Maybe you want to do something different with your business. Maybe you want to have a health goal. Maybe you want to look for your soulmate. Maybe you want to deepen your relationship. Maybe there's so many things that you could focus on that you really, really want in your life. And it's the sort of person that you become by, attaining and by having what it is you're manifesting. And it all starts in the mind, and it starts with you dreaming and having an imagination, and let your mind wander. Adults don't do this. Kids are really good at this. Kids are brilliant.
Oh yeah.
We don't use our minds. We don't imagine stuff, do we? We just go on Google.
Yes. I think that's why we connected. Yeah, that's why we both connected so well, because we, both work on emotional intelligence, freedom, and the mind. And I also learned this same mind could imagine all the problems, obstacles, and got you stuck there.
Absolutely.
And create your ideal future. So we can set up the intentions about what we want instead of focusing on what we don't want. Yeah, that way it will give us the energy flow so that we could go towards that direction. Otherwise, we will get stuck.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So there we have it in one. Thank you, Jenny, that whatever we focus on, we're going to get. And so, once we opened up beautifully today with sharing some physical symptoms and, how you can release some of these negative thoughts and emotions. And that will really help you if you do a little bit of that work to start focusing in on what is it you do want in your life? How do you want yourself to look and your life to look? So,
Yeah.
I think that's a wonderful place just to wrap this up, all together. Really to start that creation of who you become by being very careful where your focus is and focusing on what you do want. So just before we say goodbye, Jenny, is there anything you would like to share with our listeners?
I think it's pretty much it. Oh yeah, when you mentioned, actually, one example just came up in my mind. I could give example, when people feel resentful, when from relationship triggers or so, many people shared with me they have their heart pounding, bouncing, really feel it, in their body. So just give some examples.
Yeah.
Much,
people can end up in
points are done. Yes,
can't they? They can end up in hospital really feeling as if they're going to have a heart attack, but it's a panic attack, which the symptoms are very real, but the actual panic attack is not real at all.
Yeah, anger, resentment, all these kind of feelings.
It's all in our mind.
Yes.
But it does come out physically. And that's why really, if you look around at your physical world, it's actually a reflection of what's going on inside of you. Because everything's created twice, hey? Once in the mind, once in the physical world. And Jenny and I absolutely love our big passion is all going on there in the mind and emotions and thoughts and mindsets. And that's what we love.
Yes. Love ourselves. Just love ourselves.
Exactly. That kindness and compassion, my goodness, that would just solve every problem in the world. If only we all just practiced a lot more kindness towards ourselves. I think the world would be a better place just doing that, hey? Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for listening today, everybody. And huge thank you to you, Jenny, for sharing.
Thank you.
Episode, which
is good topic. Thank you.
Wonderful, and we very much welcome any questions that you have. Anything what we've discussed today, we're both very happy to expand further on that, and we look forward to sharing another of these videos in 2 weeks' time. They will be available then. So that is the end of our episode today on the Soulful Women's Journey. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you really for watching.